The FBI is hiding evidence that could clear the man it blamed for the deadly anthrax attacks back in 2001. That's the claim that comes straight from the former agent who was once in charge of the anthrax investigation. He's the one who says it's not right. The feds say the Army scientist Bruce Ivins, remember him, mailed the letters filled with the anthrax. One of them came right here to our building. They went to news outlets and offices. They went to news outlets and offices in Congress. 5 people died and 17 others were sickened. The scientist killed himself in 2008. As prosecutors said, they were getting ready to charge him with murder. The feds closed the case because he was dead. The former agent in charge of the investigation claims the FBI along the way buried a wealth of evidence that contradicts the suspect's guilt. He made the accusations in a civil suit that he filed earlier this month. The former agent says the feds fired him illegally after he filed a whistleblower report. He's asking for millions of dollars he says he would have earned had he not lost his job. We asked the FBI for a statement. So far, we have not received one. The former agent joins us now. Richard Lambert spent years heading up the FBI anthrax investigation and is live with us. Sir, good afternoon and thank you.
Hi, Shep. Good to be here.
They fired you. Your claim is they did so improperly. As a result, you're suing. Why should we believe that they closed an investigation when all of the facts weren't right?
Well, because there's been no mechanism to vet those representations on their part. The case never went to trial, and Congress has not conducted any type of congressional inquiry. So because Bruce Ivins did commit suicide, there's been no trial, and none of the exculpatory evidence with regard to Bruce Ivins has been produced, nor has it been produced for Congress. So what Congress and the American people have been treated to so far is a highly selective presentation of the facts that is really replete with material omissions.
So you're saying that there are items within the evidence that would exonerate this man? Do you have real doubts about whether he either was the sole perpetrator or was involved in the activity?
I do have very genuine doubts about whether he was the sole perpetrator. He may have been, but again, there is a staggering wealth of evidence to the contrary, and when you put it in the scales of justice, certainly the balance does not tip to the degree of proof beyond a reasonable doubt in favor of Ivins' guilt.
And you sent a correspondence of some sort to your higher-ups, one that was to be an internal memo, basis in fact from you, that ended up becoming public.
Yes, that's correct. In 2006, I filed a whistleblower report with the Deputy Director of the FBI outlining the mistakes and the lessons learned from the anthrax investigation to date. And the purpose of that was to really educate the agency so that we don't repeat the same type of mistakes when the next WMD attack comes along, and there will be one. That memo was never intended to be made public. It was intended only for FBI internal consumption, but through subsequent civil litigation, CBS News was able to get its hands on it, and they featured many of my reporting facts on the TV show 60 Minutes. That made the FBI very, very upset, and then they did to me in retirement what they could not do to me while I was employed, and that is retaliated against me. They made allegations that I had been violating conflict of interest laws and conducted a year-long probe, and finding no evidence, they've walked away from those allegations and left me stigmatized without a job, and I've also lost my home and my marriage over these allegations.
And now on the one hand, you're saying the government may be whitewashing what really happened here, or at least not providing all the information, while at the same time suing the government for $2.5 million, calculating future earnings loss, and what you were asking for in the suit is $2.5 million. You can see how that money might get in the way of people's thinking on the veracity of your claims.
Oh, absolutely. And the anthrax portion of it is included in the suit only to make clear what the FBI's motivation would be for coming forward and making this false, legally unfounded allegation against me that I had been violating federal criminal ethics laws.
Here's what doesn't make sense to me. Why in the world would the FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, not want the public to know exactly who is responsible for the deaths of these people? Why would they say, okay, case closed, and not finish it? That's the part that doesn't make sense.
Well, the case is closed. It is a cold case, but it is certainly not solved. Because, again, it's easy for the government to stand up and say, Bruce Ivins killed himself. He's the perpetrator. Here's the evidence that we have of his guilt, and not have to produce any exculpatory evidence. Had this case gone to trial, there is a Supreme Court case called Brady versus Maryland that requires the government to produce to the defense the exculpatory evidence in the case. So far, Congress nor the American people have seen any of the exculpatory evidence in this case.
Richard Lambert will follow the suit and see how it progresses, and thank you for coming.
Thank you.